Hey guys, Bree here from Mishawal Crochet, and today I'm bringing you some cheap crochet kits. I have never bought these before, and I am very curious how they're going to work out. So stay tuned, and we'll check these out together. Today, before we get totally into it, I want to preface this with a little bit with, I've been seeing a lot of people buying the Woobly kits. I don't know if you've seen them on social media or not, or maybe in your local Joann's, but I've looked at them and I think they're really cool, and I like the characters. I feel like they look like they'd be easy enough to make, but I can't quite get over the price tag. Like, I'm struggling with that. I've seen them anywhere from $25 up to like over 40, and that seems like a lot to me to make one amigurumi. But I've heard a lot of positive reviews about them though, that if you don't know how to crochet at all, like you're an absolute like -100 beginner, then they could be for you, because I've heard that they're very easy to learn from, and I've heard that there's videos that go along. Now, I cannot speak on the Woobly kits because I've never bought one, but I may buy one in the future, so stay tuned. That may be coming in a future video. Today though, when I was out and about, I saw at my local Family Dollar in their Dollar Tree section, they had crochet kits. Since they were in the Dollar Tree section, they were only $1.25 each. I got the unicorn, and I got this bunny, one, and I'm not really a bunny kind of person, but it reminded me so much of Ralphie from Christmas Story, like the outfit he gets from his aunt, that I just kind of had to have it. And I thought that out of all of them, this one seemed like it might be the easiest and most basic one to do. So I got that one, and this one I got because I thought it was super cute, and I know somebody that I think will enjoy this. I'm gonna make this for somewhere in the future. If they're watching, well, it's coming your way, and you probably know who you are. I also got this one because it reminded me of one of the Woobly kits I've seen, because I know they've got a dinosaur, they've got a unicorn, and they've got some of the similar ones. But $1.25 versus an average of $30, that's a huge difference. And for $1.25, I have pretty low expectations. Like, when I picked up these kits, my first, like, before like reading like what's actually in them, I thought, do they even come with a hook? I mean, for $1.25, I don't expect a hook, I don't expect a needle for weaving it in, I don't expect it to be a complete kit. Like, minimally going into it, I figured pattern and enough yarn to make it. Like, I've got really low standards for $1.25, but it's one of those things where, you know, it might be you pay for what you get. So this might be worth $1.25. It might have a higher or lower value, but we'll find out together. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make the bunny, because I feel like that's the most basic one. I think I'm gonna make that one first, and then some of the other ones somewhere in the future. Today I plan on making one of these kits. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with the bunny. I'm gonna set these two aside for another time. And let's go ahead and look at this together. I'm going to hold it up in case you would like to read it. And I'm going to open it up. We'll see what's inside. And then I'm going to make the bunny and let you know how that process goes. So let's go ahead and get started. While I'm opening this up, I also want to tell you that there were 6 different kits, and I ended up with 3 of them. I was going to grab all 6, but I thought, I don't know if I'll actually use them all. And if, you know, out of 3 of them, I should get a pretty good idea if, you know, it's worth it or not. All right, so first thing I'm pulling out are the directions or instructions. So there's got some pictures to show you exactly how to crochet. And it's interesting how it's set up, because it's not set up like a traditional pattern. It's not just words, it's got graphs. So if you're not somebody who knows how to read graphs, this could be an issue, because I'm not seeing where there's any instructions, like word for word instructions. I'm only seeing graphs. That could be quite the problem if you don't know how to read a graph. Now I see on here, it shows you how to hold your hook. It's only showing you one way to hold your hook. It does show you how to make a slip knot and how to make a magic ring. I don't think this is something you're gonna buy and you're gonna learn how to crochet. Maybe if, you know, if you're the kind of person that can learn from pictures, maybe you can. But as far as the instructions, I mean, because I'm a seasoned crocheter, I have no doubt I should be able to figure out how to do it. But when you're talking about like little like diagrams, and inside the diagrams it shows like row 1 and it shows like X's for the stitches, row 2 X's for the stitches, it's not like giving me everything. It says rounds the number of stitches, so but it doesn't tell you like how to increase those stitches. So yeah, you're not going into this as somebody who doesn't know how to crochet, and I'm gonna probably figure this out easily. I mean, I'm not saying you totally couldn't, because anything's possible, but there's no way I would have figured this out. Anyways, let's set that aside. Let's see what else we get inside. So the next thing I'm gonna pull out is this pink yarn, which is kind of in a bit of a mess. So that makes me a little concerned, because I've bought kits before and they're so tangled that there was absolutely no way that I could have ever created the project. If you've ever seen my video, and it was a kit I got from Five Below, and it was Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, that one was like a bust. Like, it didn't have enough yarn, it was super tangly. So there's a good amount of yarn here. There's more yarn than I would have expected. Or is it because it's so fluffed out? I mean, because if I pull it like that, that's not quite as much. All right, inside the yarn, I also found a crochet hook. Now this is a plastic crochet hook. I don't know what, it doesn't say what size it is on the handle or anything. It's also more of a tapered, let me put this up here, I want to make sure you can see that. It's more of a tapered head. So if you're a Susan Bates kind of person, you're probably not going to like it. Okay, we'll set that aside. All right, we have a little tiny package. Oh my goodness, that needle, that is really flimsy. It's pink and it matches the project though, so let's give them kudos for that. You got your 2 eyes, and then this brown, which I'm assuming that must be for the face. Oh, it's for like the nose and the little spot that comes down to imply where the mouth is. So it looks like we should have enough supplies, as long as the yarn isn't too tangly. And then it must be a really small like project, because this is tiny. Like, it's not very thick at all. And let me just hold my hand up. That's all the bigger that is. I mean, that's it. This is my finger next to it to show you like how thick it is. There's not a whole lot there. So it's either going to be quite a wobbly little bunny, or it's going to be pretty tiny. Based on the amount of yarn, though, they gave me, I'm kind of thinking it was going to be not huge, but I was thinking, you know, like decent size. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put all this away, and I'm going to work on that and let you know how it comes out. I just picked up this little piece here, and I thought for a second it went with the kit, but I just realized it's actually from a different project. If you know, you know. There's always little bits of yarn, it seems like, everywhere. So I'm going to go work on this, and I will be back to give you my thoughts. I might check in. If there's anything major, I will check in between, or might come back with a finished product. Either way, I'll be back. We can discuss this, and I'll keep you posted. Hey guys, I'm sitting here on my porch with my colleague, and we are working on this bunny pattern. I wanted to give you a quick update, because in the pattern it calls to start with the legs. It says make 2 of them, and then you go right into the body. So you do the 3 rounds for the legs, and then the body starts off on round 4. And since I'm a seasoned crocheter, I understand what that means. I'm going to use both of the legs, the 8 stitches from each, to equal out the 16 that I need to do round 4 to start the body. And I know how to put those together. But if you're new to this is your first time crocheting, you're not going to know how to do that. And I mean, if you take the time to tell how to make the stitches and how to do the things, like, you should take the time to do a little bit more than like a graph just showing how many rounds and how many stitches. You should be telling people where to like attach them. So as a seasoned crocheter, I'm going to be okay, but a beginner's not going to be. So I just want to jump in here real quick, give you that little bit of an update. Also, there was a term in here that I had never heard of before. It says an inner pull short stitch. I've never heard that term before. So I'm curious, tell me in the comments, have you ever heard that term before? Inner pull short stitch? That's a new one for me. So I understand what they're meaning without having to look it up, but that was a new one. So, all right, I'll be back later with maybe another update, or maybe I'll have it completed. Either way, it'll be some kind of update. So stay tuned. Hey guys, I am back with our bunny pattern, and here's how he came out. That is pretty spot on. Like, he's not too far off. I think mine's maybe a little chubbier. He's stuffed a little bit more, but he looks pretty good. The ears, yeah, the ears came out a little bit different shaped, but maybe it's just the way I have them folded. Maybe that's a me thing, but I'm pretty happy. Now, I was very surprised because let me show you how much yarn was left. There was a decent amount of yarn left. Like, if I would have made like some kind of mistake, like let's say I wanted to redo the ears so that they looked a little bit more like the picture, there would have been a little extra. If there would have been like, there was a little room for error, let's say. Also, I mean, for the little amount of stuffing that we had, I actually still have some left. And I actually thought he was going to be a little bit bigger, so I didn't know if this was going to be enough, but it ended up being enough. I mean, he's stuffed and this is what's left over. I was also quite surprised, being that it was a plastic crochet hook. I didn't expect it to like make it through the project without breaking. I honestly thought that it was gonna break. I did like go out of my way to try and be careful, but towards the end I just was like, okay, I'm just gonna crochet, you know, like normal, and it still didn't break. I mean, it's quite flexible, but it was firm enough that I didn't have a problem getting into any of the stitches. And surprisingly, for being, you know, a cheap plastic crochet hook, it was very smooth, and I had like pretty much like 0% drag. Like, I didn't catch any yarn. I mean, very smooth crocheting experience with this plastic hook, and I was very skeptical. But I would say for $1.25, I think it's worth it. I think, though, you need to know how to crochet before going into it. I still stand by what I said about you need to know how to crochet before going into this, because, for instance, when they had you like crochet one leg, crochet the other leg, and when you had to like, it didn't tell you how to connect them to continue to go up the body. Like, that's pretty vital information. You had to just kind of know what you were doing, because it wasn't, you know, the directions weren't very descriptive. So that, and the size of these stitch diagrams are pretty small. So if, you know, if you struggle at all with your eyesight, you're gonna struggle with these probably. Because I mean, look at this one, just in compare the size of this one to the end of my finger. I mean, this isn't much bigger, so it's pretty small. I do believe, like, here, my final consensus is I do believe it's worth the $1.25, but I think going into it, you need to know things like, more than likely, you're not going to learn how to crochet from this kit. You need to have skills going into it. Otherwise, you're going to be going on YouTube and trying to like search different things in order to kind of figure your way through this. So for $1.25, good for experienced crocheter. I think it'd be good for somebody who is just starting out with crochet, who understands like the basics, so that, you know, they could, you know, it's like a little bit of a challenge, but I would not give it to somebody who's like never picked up a crochet hook, that's for sure. All in all, though, pretty good product for $1.25. I keep saying $1.25 because I just can't believe that I found a crochet kit for $1.25. For that price, I think it's definitely worth it. That's all I have for you today. Until next week, take care.